So I've made a couple of videos covering this product I made, but I thought it'd be interesting if I do a behind the scenes of how these fan shrouds are designed, manufactured, and processed. Now, for those of you who are new viewers or don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give a brief overview and I'll start with a TLDR so you can skip ahead in the video if you want. So this is a fan filter that gives standard PC fans a facelift. They work as a standalone fan or with the fans you find on your radiator or AIO, and in some cases even on air coolers as well. Sizes are available in 120mm, 140, 240, 280, and up to 360mm. And the colors available are sage green, pastel pink, navy blue, a solid black, charcoal gray, and solid white color. If you like what you see and you want to purchase one, you can do so via my website or my Etsy store, and you can find links to that in the description below. There is a discount happening right now for the holidays, so that'll be going on until the end of December, and prices begin at $24.30 with shipping included. These are fan shrouds, filters, grills, whatever you want to call them really. They're designed for PC fans, and their primary value proposition is their aesthetic appeal above all else. I noticed that many computer fans have a rather standard look to them, so I wanted to give you folks who like to build and modify computers an extra degree of customization. And I think these do a good job of cleaning up the look of a PC and perhaps breathing some life into some older fans that one may have lying around. So there is a main shroud plus an outer cover, and they can be used together or independently. And these also have the added benefit of filtering dust particles via its stainless steel mesh filter and keeping your computer clean without restricting airflow. Technically, these are considered fan grills or filters, but I've noticed an overwhelming amount of people who sell similar products refer to them as shrouds, so for the sake of marketing purposes, I'll refer to them as shrouds. A traditional shroud or fan spacer offsets the fan from the surface it's mounted to in order to mitigate potential dead spots. And I am working on a fan spacer that will align with this design here, but that won't be released for a few weeks. So a few months ago, I was playing around with my computer, doing some general maintenance and cleaning, and I decided I'd add some old fans that I had lying around in order to improve airflow. But I was a bit disappointed in that the fans felt a bit incongruent with the rest of my build's design. Specifically, I didn't like the side profile. And for some background, I tend to be particular and picky when it comes to designing or selecting hardware, or really anything for that matter. So that sparked the idea to design some sort of cover to spruce up the look of a PC fan and my computer. So I went on the internet and did a bit of research and browsed Etsy, and I discovered there was a well-established community of creators who design accessories for computers like fan shrouds and other cooling accessories. However, I noticed many fan shrouds tended to be more graphic in the sense they were based on geometric patterns, pictures, anime characters in some cases, or just a specific theme. And don't get me wrong, I think many of those look awesome and they would look great in some PC builds, but they don't align with my vision and design philosophy. It's like I gravitate towards subtle and neutral designs, at least when it comes to selecting hardware for my PC. I generally don't select items that are loud per se. In this case, I want a fan shroud that can fit in most settings and computer builds, something that can accentuate an already built PC without looking too out of place. So with that in mind, I hopped into Fusion 360, a well-known CAD modeling software, and after several revisions and many failed prints, I got something that more or less worked. And the first prototype was crude to say the least, but it worked nonetheless. So I made a few minor adjustments, selected a color palette, and I revised the post-process. So the fan shrouds begin their journey here at my 3D printer. The print time ranges between 3.5 hours for the smaller 120mm version, up to over 8 hours for the larger 360mm configuration. And for you additive nerds, in case you're wondering, my machine happens to be the original Cobra Max by Anycubic with a modified cooling system and spool holder. All else is stock. And the reason I use this machine is because 1, it's cheap, and 2, it has a large build volume of 400 by 400mm on the XY axis, which allows me to print large designs. It's not the best or fastest printer by any means, but I do value its large build volume. And if you dial in your settings and play around a bit, you can get some surprisingly great quality prints. So after it's finished printing, the post-processing begins, and this is the most labor-intensive part. I begin by adding some chamfers to the screw holes with a chamfering adapter on my drill. I then sand using a low-grit sandpaper in order to rough up the surface and smooth out any surface imperfections. I then spray a heavy first layer of primer and I let that dry completely. I then sand again with a slightly higher grit sandpaper to further smooth out any potential surface imperfections. I repeat this process again, making sure to sand with a higher grit sandpaper to really get a smooth finish. I then apply the first coat of paint and I make sure to go light with this coat and not cover all the primer. I do that specifically to avoid any paint pooling. And depending on how the surface is turning out, I may do an extra round of sanding here. I then repeat this process 2 to 3 times, ensuring that the paint coats all surfaces. I then apply a satin clear coat finish, which offers a nice shimmer between gloss and matte and protects the paint. And I also do this in 2 to 3 really light coats to ensure no buildup, as it's really easy to get a foggy finish. So I let that dry for at least 24 hours, but preferably 48 hours. Lastly, I cut the stainless steel mesh filter to size using an outline. I flatten that, and that's pretty much it. It's ready for assembly, packaging, and shipping. So if you're interested in a product like this and you want to support me, you can purchase these on my website, particlestudios.io, or via my Etsy store, and you can find links to that in the description below. Like I mentioned, there is a discount happening for the holiday season, so make sure to take advantage of that before it ends. And if you haven't already and you like what you see, make sure to drop a like and perhaps a share. I would really appreciate that. I also have a Discord community you can join where we can discuss anything and everything hardware and technology related. So if you're building a new PC or you stumble upon a cool tech product, you can share that there. We can talk about it. It is a small community, but it is growing and I would love for you to join. If you guys have any questions, please feel free and comment down below. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I will catch you in the next video.